Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel, and I'm your host for LT Productions. You are watching I Watch You Watch. We are reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 10, is it? Episode 4. I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. You can also subscribe, share it, and you can leave your comments below. Let's get into this episode. I did not take any notes for this episode. I think I got everything in my mind, and even what I want to say, I think I did. I may miss a part, but oh well. We start the episode where we left off, and this is with Marceau and Maurice. Marceau was saying the same way that Jalen felt. He felt as far as growing up with Maurice. Maurice was the golden child, and of course, Maurice Jr. is the golden child. Maurice is saying that Marceau is making up stuff. You lie all the time. Then they're gonna cut the camera to Tisha sipping her wine. I said, Lord, why y'all do that? Now y'all just give ammunition. Not saying that Marceau don't lie, but we ain't really caught him in a lie. He just avoids telling the truth or what we want him to tell us, you know. Just saying. So Kimmy backs up Marceau and says, yes, Maurice Jr. is the golden child. But he was like, well, Jalen turned out fine. Da, 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 da. That is such old school jargon. All because they didn't end up in jail. All because they're not working at Kroger's at age 32 because they never did anything with their life. Nothing wrong with Kroger's at all. If that's where you work at, cool. But it's just like, all because they're not selling drugs. You act like they just turned out all right. You've done good. You've done some good. I'll just say you've done good things, Maurice. That doesn't negate how Jalen feels. And of course, that old school mentality, get over it. And I did the best I could. Marceau said, look, eat the meat and spit out the bones. Meaning, take accountability here about this. Okay, you did this right. You didn't do this right. Let's do this. And you may not feel you did that right, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Take it with a grain of salt and change. Marceau just said, look, I just think you need to take a step out. I think you need to hear feedback from someone out of this family unit, meaning Kimmy and myself, so that you possibly will hear. Well, I'll just say that Maurice is not someone that wants to hear anything. And possibly he's definitely not going to respect anyone that he has a familiar relationship with, even though they're telling him right. Kimmy's in her confessional saying at how frustrating it is that you got to tell Maurice over and over and over. And then finally one day, you can crack his skull open that he'll finally open up. Why? I'm just not understanding, Kimmy. Why did you marry this man? If I call him a fool, he's going to all of a sudden want to bring about his valedictorian. But who cares? You're just book smart. But you're not. You lack, emotional intelligence. Your logic is off. You have your own logic and you live in your own bubble. A little bit, that's cool because you just don't want to go with the flow with everything. I enjoy that. However, you just can't dismiss other people and what they said that their experience with you is. All because that you decided to be a mentor instead of a father. What was the next scene? Let's move on. Trisha and Ken. They're doing a photo shoot because Trisha's birthday is coming up. She is turning 38. I forgot the theme that goes along with 38. But she has inquired, I think this is the Freddie O person. If you ever see a lot of photos from Bravo and Atlantis people, you'll see the Freddie O person. He's been around forever and a day, and that's the normal photographer a lot of them folks in Atlanta use. So but anyways, she's doing this a photo op, and she's sending out invitations. She has Ken with her and all that good stuff, and the dress attire is dukes and boots. Basically, you need to wear Daisy Dukes along with your boots, cowboy boots and all that good stuff. So they're taking the photos. At first, when she walked up in there, she looked quite stiff. However, I'm going to say this much. There is, I don't want to say a whole 180 with Trisha this season, but she's way more comfortable with the camera. Because there's some things that we're going to talk about a little bit later about Trisha. But anyways, I was like, oh, okay. She's really opened up. Because first I was questioning, okay, so Mr. Carlos, you hired this lady. You must see something in her. Because it's just, when she first came on, she was not speaking up, nothing. But I think that she's improved a lot as far as being verbal. I won't say communicating, because I think that there's some stuff that maybe she needs to still talk about. But anyways, cool, nice, whatever you want to call it. Nice little photo shoot. All right, so we move on to a conversation. Marceau, Jalen, and Maurice. They go out someplace and they have a talk. And I just don't understand why Jalen has to really repeat himself to Maurice. He said all this to you the other day. And he did say that there is a difference in treatment between him and Maurice Jr. Maurice was there more to back him up. Marceau was just there more to back him up. All I heard from Maurice is, I apologize for what I've done in the past, and a futuristic apology for when I step out of line again. And you can come to me and tell me when you feel mistreated. What's wrong with this picture, Maurice? I'll tell you. You've only apologized, and then you put a blanket out there of, I'm going to screw up again. And the only thing that you're saying is, come tell me when I mistreat you. You didn't say that you're going to change at all. So what was the point of this conversation? I have no clue. That means that you believe that you are still right. Pride. Whatever, get out of my face. I don't know how these folks raised this dude, obviously because of his book smarts. They must have really encouraged him to go. I don't know where this arrogance and pride comes from, but it's quite crazy. It's like, in a way it's good, but then it's really used for bad because your family is suffering. And let me go back to Kimmy again. Why did you marry this fool? And why were you comfortable marrying with him knowing that he was mistreating your child? And then you're sitting up here helping him raise his child that's not listening to you. Like, I just question Kimmy a lot. Like, what was the point in getting married to this fool? Like, he don't really have a on-call dad. I think he's in his life. I think they communicate, but it's nothing at all as far as hands-on. And then you get with a man whom you used your child to even start talking to Maurice. You used him as his barber, remember? So it's like, so you put your son through all of that, and he's dealing with this stuff in his adulthood because he's being honest about how he feels, even though you already told that meathead years ago, you're doing this. I don't know, Kimmy. Anyways, we find out that Jalen has taken a job in Colorado. He's taken a pay cut, and he says that he's been taking a pay cut for whatever jobs that he's been doing for the past 3 years. And Maurice encouraged him, like, look, you taking a pay cut now, but it's an investment into your future. What he's doing is it's kind of in the path that he's going, but it's not totally. So I don't know. But it looks like Jalen's ready to get up out of Alabama. Because they did talk about the whole hierarchy and dictatorship. He ain't changed about that either. Because it's like, we can do the work and then you come back afterwards with all this criticism and you put in the work. I kind of feel like this conversation was a waste of time, and it's because of Maurice. Not that they weren't trying to get through to him. However, I think they already know Maurice is not going to change, so whatever. Next, should I break it up a little bit more? We can go with Nell because it's really short. She's at her job at the daycare, and it looks like she's on a business call. So it's cool that they're keeping with the theme a little bit. I need to see more business though. Let's do some more business, y'all. And not, oh, I'm looking for this, I'm looking at that. Let's see you actually do what you said that you're supposed to be doing. Come on. Anyways, she's on this business call. Then Trisha comes. Trisha, they sit down, they talk for a little bit. I don't know which one came first. Again, I didn't write anything down. They talked about the party and all that. Is everybody invited? And she said, yeah. Oh, so Martell and Marquez? Trisha said no. Martell and Marquez is not coming, blah, 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 blah. Then they talked about the whole situation that happened with Tisha. They feel like Kimmy and Tisha aren't open. They're not transparent enough. They feel like that Tisha should have went into everything about what was done or said in regards to Martell. For me, I ignored the whole interview. I didn't watch it. I saw the trailer and just thought Martell was full of it. That's kind of where they were at with this whole situation. So what was there to really tell? Do I think that the Scotts are not transparent? Yeah. But they've been on reality TV now for 10, well, not 10 years, but a good portion of time, for years. So they know what to do and not do. However, I don't feel like Nell and Chris are all the way transparent either. And it's getting quite muddy in the waters in regards to a lot of stuff that's going on, as far as if you want to listen to a lot of things that are happening in YouTube streets. Trisha's more defending, like, well, maybe she just don't trust y'all to really open up like that. Probably not. I mean, social media, who is the unknown cast member, has done a toll on the Scotts 1.0 and 2.0. I'm speaking up for them, but really, yeah, it's come to a place where they don't really say anything. I think at least they're discussing family stuff. And possibly, I don't think the Scotts 2.0 really want to open up anything else because of the backlash of when Maurice, the whole cancer thing with Maurice still wanting sex from Kimmy. I don't know. But anyways, he could have opened a whole lot more up about the whole DUI situation. I understand it was a court case, but then you were arrogant and about that. But yeah, I can see where they're not transparent, but I also don't see where the Fletchers are as transparent. Just saying. What's next? We get to see with Martell and his mom, Marlene. It was cool to see Miss Marlene. I'm glad that they are glamming her up more this season. It's cool. They are talking about Ariana and Maverick. Martell has never spoken of this child on this show by his name, ever. What is going to happen when that child grows up and knows that he was the other? It's like he is, but he's... You don't deserve that family. Martell, I really don't. I don't think you do. You don't deserve that family. And now you're talking about you putting her up in this investment property. Like, why am I going to be paying another bill for a home and all that good stuff? I mean, it's smart. I just don't think it's smart on Ariana's part. Because, again, you have all the control. And what the most that you have to really do to that investment property? The maintenance, pay for the utilities, and taxes once a year. Have your own ish, Ariana. But I know that you're not. And then he putting you through school. Now it's going to be this. All I can say is it's cool to have someone wanting to provide for you. But even knowing the type of man that you are with, it's always going to come up as far as what he's done for you. And you're possibly going to think that you owe him. But anyways, Miss Marlene says, you know, I wasn't happy at how she came into your life and all that. For a long time. It took me a long time to adjust. I didn't like how your family broke up. I was mad at you. I did see times where Miss Marlene did speak. Would I say? How can I say this? Do I think that she defended Mel a little bit? Yeah. But overall, that's my baby. Because she said, I love my family unit that I had and all that. When Martell feels like the blame shouldn't go to her, it was on me. Okay, cool. At least you finally talking like you got some sense, as if you didn't step out. However, this girl, if the girl was just messing around with you and wasn't doing all this extra stuff that she's been doing for years, I would say, okay. But no, she deserves some of the blame. Because she should have just been opening her legs up to you and not being on social media, not fighting with Mel and all that good stuff for years and doing all this stupid stuff. So whatever. So at this point, Miss Marlene is in a better place with Ariana, and she's willing to, I think she had her over for dinner before. It just seems like we're just really preparing to actually see this girl on the show. And I think Martell only wants her on the show for storyline purposes for him. However, his main reasoning is so that she can go after Marceau and Maurice. And more for Marceau. It's just that Maurice is going to be collateral damage. Say I'm wrong. Say I'm wrong, y'all. But anyways, yeah, so that was the end of that. We get on to the party, and at least people were having fun. I'm glad for that. We got some time. It was kind of this normal type of party scene that's now happening at these clubs. The bottle girls doing all that. So it's nothing to me extraordinary or unique about it. But hey, this is Trisha's party, and that's how she wanted to celebrate. Her and Ken dancing. Everybody's doing the big one. So the ladies all sit down, except, was it Trisha yet? No, the ladies all sit down. Let me say this first. Destiny, we saw you in one episode. You're main cast. You're in the credits. Where are you? This is the second event that you have not been or have attended. What's up? Let's get back to them. So all the ladies sit down. Nell, Kimmy, Tisha, and Trish. Oh, Lance came too, and what's his face? Will, who is Ken's friend. He showed up. I thought that was cool. Of course, everybody else and their husbands, they came too. Jalen came too. So of course they sat down and talked about the party. Like, why y'all got Ken in the picture with you? And finally we hear, this is my first time hearing it, Trisha have anything kind, lovey-dovey, affectionate to say about Ken. I said, oh, okay. And we learned some new news about her. She's ready to get married to Ken. Oh, that's new too. For me, Ken and Trisha, don't allow the drama of Marcus to be your only storyline. I would have loved to have heard this kind of talk when y'all are alone. I would love to see y'all be affectionate with one another. Because they were saying, it seemed like you got one foot out the door and one foot in. I think Tisha said that. He's like, no, I'm ready to get married. I'm like, that's news to us, because last season at the end, you were ready. Y'all had this big explosion fight. Of course, the reunion showed differently, of course. But it's just like, okay. Yeah. I would like to become invested in y'all, but I need something totally different from y'all. Let production, I guess, allow Marcus to come in. I don't know why he needs to be here. He's annoying. And when nothing's really solved, nothing goes anywhere. But we need to see y'all as a couple. Love and marriage. So let me see the love. And I guess as you head on to marriage, if you divorce this fool. So they start talking about transparency and how Nell feels like Tisha and Kimmy are not transparent. Tisha said, I think we're transparent and all that. And Kimmy said, wait. Hold on. Let her continue what she got to say. Tell me how we are not transparent. And she starts getting passionate about it because y'all ain't really telling her nothing. So Nell says, well, when the whole interview came out with Martell and what he did. Well, I did tell you guys that I didn't watch the whole thing or whatever. It was just some BS to her. So what exactly do you want me to be transparent about? Then they go into Tisha telling, well, y'all aren't really transparent. Y'all don't really say all the stuff that's going on that we hear in the streets about you and Chris, da-da-da-da-da. I know. I even tried to ask you some questions about it. And then Nell was like, well, Marceau, shut that down. So are the Fletchers as transparent as they need to be? No, I don't think so. I thought we were headed someplace really great 2 seasons ago. Even with their family dynamic. Of course, that kind of got shut down now that the oldest child, which is Chris's child, shut everything down and doesn't want anything to do with them. She did her own little, I won't say little, her own, if you want, I'm calling it a TikTok series, but it's not a TikTok series, but her own series on YouTube about being the black sheep of the family. Y'all can check her out. Alexis or Alexia? I'm sure you can find her. Anyways. But yeah. So there was this back and forth, and you're seeing Tisha she's drunk. Let me say this. I like drunk Tisha. So at this point, she wants to go confront Chris Fletcher about that whole sign the NDA crap. But anyways, the dudes come around, and they are already talking amongst themselves. And Maurice is telling Ken about his position within this whole Trish and Marquez situation. You're the villain in this. She's still married and all that. Ken is confessional saying all these two come around and say the same thing about the same thing. Like, it's not really productive, and I don't really want to hear it. In some instances, I think you need to hear it, Ken, but at the same point, I understand what you're talking about. But if you still love it, love it. I just think that you are getting the short end of the stick in this whole situation. Who said it tonight? They just think that once they get a divorce, everything will be, Marcus and Trish get a divorce, everything will be fine, whatever. Then they get on the subject about Chris talking about the NDA stuff. Chris said, what I meant to say, he's a lawyer, so you need to, so he would know something about NDAs. Chris, that was some BS. That was some BS. Stop it. Anyways, by this point, the whole group gets together and Tisha is sauce. And she's going off on Fletcher, like, why were you saying this about these NDAs, and putting her fingers, and Nell was able to, like, don't be doing this, da-da-da-da-da. Marcel let it go on a little bit too longer. It went on longer than what it was supposed to be. But anyways, he was able to get Tisha to chill. He told her, chill, we already had that discussion, we good. At that point, Tisha calmed down. Again, I do like drunk Tisha. The only part that I think that she took it too far is all this finger pointing and hands all up in people's faces and stuff like that. Of course, at this point, Nell said that she's really tired and through of Tisha. Just still consider, please, she was drunk. We know that that's not normal behavior from Tisha. She was drunk. I think it would be cool if Tisha just apologized for that. So that was it for this episode. Oh, Lance is going to be talked about next week, and I think I'll just bring it up next week because he's talking about why he didn't talk about this baby that was on his way. He wanted to be on the up and up about whatever. What do you mean? Are you talking about there was doubt of paternity? That's the only thing I think of since you waited so late to talk about this baby. Whatever. That's all I have. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Thank you for stopping by. Support. I will be with you with Heart and Hustle Houston review. I have 2 more episodes of the Hunting Wives on Netflix that I'll have for you. These are the last 2. And also I'll have a review for Beyond the Gates, my weekly review. Pray for me because it's a lot. All right. Again, I appreciate everyone for coming. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Until the next one, peace.